All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a story that is absolutely rocking the Israeli military to its very foundations. This is a scandal that goes all the way to the top of its justice system, and it's got everything. Alleged cover-ups, a really dramatic disappearance, and a missing phone that might just hold all the answers. So I want you to picture this. It's a pretty normal day at the Tel Aviv Magistrate's court. You know the scene. Suspects being brought in for all sorts of cases. But on this one particular day, everyone there saw something, well, something that was just unbelievable. I mean, something that had never, ever been seen before in Israel's entire history.
Because sitting right there, on the bench where the suspects sit, wasn't just any high-ranking officer. No, this was a major general. And not just any major general. This was the person in charge of the entire military enforcement system, the Chief Military Prosecutor herself.
I mean, what a scene, right? It just begs the question, how in the world does the top lawyer for the entire Israeli military end up sitting in a courtroom as a suspect? That is the big question, and that's exactly what we're going to dig into. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about who exactly is at the center of this whole storm.
So the person on that bench, that was Major General Orna Tomer-Yerushalmi. And to give you a sense of just how big a deal this is, her job as Chief Military Prosecutor, well, she was the final word on military law, the ultimate authority. Her arrest is basically like seeing a country's top prosecutor being led into a courtroom in handcuffs. It's a huge deal.
So, how did she end up in that courtroom? To figure that out, we've got to go back to the night before she was arrested. A night that started with everyone thinking her life was in serious danger. Yeah, the evening kicked off with total panic. Her family calls it in, she's missing, they found a letter, and it suggested she was planning to harm herself. Not long after that, they find her car just abandoned at a beach. This sparks this huge search that goes on for hours. And then finally, they find her. She's on a different beach, and the police immediately take her in for questioning. So you'd think, okay, massive wave of relief, right? She's safe. But this is where the story takes a really sharp turn, because right in the middle of all that chaos, investigators notice something's wrong. Something really important is missing. Her phone. It's just gone.
And this missing phone is where things get really interesting, because it basically splits the entire investigation into two very different paths. You've got two main theories on the table. Theory one, this was a genuine, tragic personal crisis, and in the confusion, the phone just got lost. Totally possible. But then there's theory two, that this whole thing, the disappearance, the letter, was all staged. A performance to create an excuse to hide or destroy that phone, the one device investigators believe holds the key to this entire case.
Right. So that missing phone, it's not just a missing phone. It's the whole ball game. Investigators are convinced it's packed with evidence. Evidence that links directly to some incredibly serious accusations against her. And these accusations, they go right to the very core of the power she held.
And when she got to her hearing, the judge didn't mince words. They laid out the official suspicions and, listen to these, obstruction of justice, breach of trust, abuse of power. I mean, these are not small things. This is a direct hit on the integrity of the very system she was sworn to protect.
And get this, the story doesn't even stop with her. This scandal is getting bigger. The investigation has now roped in another super high-ranking officer, Brigadier General Matan Salamesh, who, by the way, is also a former Chief Military Prosecutor.
So what's his deal? Well, he's allegedly mixed up in trying to cover up an internal investigation. The whole thing is about a controversial video that got leaked from the Side Timon facility, you know, that really sensitive detention center that's been in the news. He's accused of basically shutting down the search for the person who leaked it. Now, Salamesh's side of the story is pretty different. He says he was totally shut out. He claims he went to the deputy running that leak investigation and was like, listen, when you're ready to talk to me, I'll tell you everything I know. But according to him, that call never came. No one ever asked him. Okay, so this isn't just a story about one or two people anymore. You have to understand what's happening here is sending like an earthquake right through the entire military prosecutor's office.
As of now, we know that 7 officers from that very office have been brought in for questioning as part of this whole thing.
Okay, but here's the number that really tells you how serious this is. Out of those 7, 5 of them were questioned under caution. Now, if you're not familiar with the legal jargon, that's a big deal. It means you're not just a witness, you're a potential suspect.
So as you can probably guess, this has caused what people are calling a massive upheaval inside the unit. I mean, think about it. Your current boss is arrested, your former boss is arrested, a bunch of your senior colleagues are now potential suspects. Suddenly, there's a huge leadership vacuum, and that's dangerous. This has real consequences. It makes you question every ongoing case, it casts this shadow over past decisions, and of course, it just tanks the morale of the entire legal team.
And this puts the higher-ups in a really tough spot. What do? Who do you pick to lead now? Do you promote from the inside, get someone who knows the system, its DNA, but who might also be connected to this whole mess? Or do you bring in a total outsider, someone clean, who is far away from the crisis, but who has no idea how this very unique, very complex military legal system works? There's no easy answer here.
All right, so the whole system is in chaos, the investigation is getting deeper, so what happens right now?
Well, for now, the court has made a move. A judge decided to extend the detention for both Tomer-Yerushalmi and Salam Elish. Basically, they're staying in custody so the investigation can keep going without them getting in the way.
But it's why the judge made that call that's so stunning. In her statement, she said that it wasn't just about preventing them from obstructing the investigation. She said there were also grounds of dangerousness when it came to Tomer-Yerushalmi. Just let that sink in. The judge is calling the former head of military justice dangerous. That is an absolutely incredible thing to say about someone who, just days ago, was in one of the most powerful and trusted positions in the military.
And all of this brings us back to one huge, unsettling question. It's the same question investigators are asking, the public is asking, and it's so much bigger than just a missing phone. It really gets to the heart of the trust we put in our institutions. The question is this: how could someone who allegedly operates like this, how could they have been the head of the entire military justice system for so long?